but like I had lost my internal motivation. I was just spinning my wheels trying to get up every day and get to work and manage the stress and the emotions and the heaviness of the pandemic. So I had lost my leadership skills. So I tell everybody that PDA gave me my mojo back. So that's what led me in that direction, is I felt the need to lead again.
You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices.
Hey everybody, it's Chad Johnson. Welcome back to Everyday Practices with my co-host Regan Robertson. Regan, how you doing?
Doing exceptional today. Chadwick, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I am excited on a rainy, cruddy day to talk to UMKC graduate of the same year as me, Sarina Tinnel. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Chad. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, you've got a kind of a good story. I won't call it a fun story, but fun for us to learn from your like your growth pattern and stuff like that. So this last year has been sucky for a lot of people.
That's right. It's been a total suck year.
Yeah. And so
Chad used to just say Sucktember, but that was a lot of sucky months there.
I had never heard it before until this year that people were like Sucktober. So they even just changed it into, like I've not heard anyone yet say Suckvember, but I mean, like, I don't know when it's going to end. We'll have whatever. Yeah. Right. So how did you get plugged in with the foundations course?
Actually, one of my great friends here in the area, Overland Park, Shawnee area, was an office manager. Her great friend is Joanne Miles.
Oh, yeah.
Ellie was the office manager's name, and she hooked me up with Joanne. Joanne and I become friends, and she was the one that probably 10 times told me, Sarina, you have to get hooked up with PDA. You have to get it. So after listening to a few of Dr. Baird's podcasts, I jumped on board.
You're wrapping up with the September course and whatnot, right?
Yep. So we did that 8-week business class starting at the end of summer, August, September.
It was.
It was great. It was just how to get a business plan going, a 2-year business plan. And at first I thought there's no way I will ever be able to do this on my own. And no kidding, just attending the courses on Fridays for a few hours, just jumped right on board. And it was really simple.
So what spoke to you about getting signed up for that? Why that course? I mean, was it just something to do, or did something speak to you like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I need.
Because I feel like I had kind of lost everything. I mean, of course, my practice, my patients, my team, I adore them. And everybody came through this pandemic at this point, 100%. We didn't lose any team members. Everything's great. But like I had lost my internal motivation. I was just spinning my wheels trying to get up every day and get to work and manage the stress and the emotions and the heaviness of the pandemic. So I had lost my leadership skills. So I tell everybody that PDA gave me my mojo back. So that's what led me in that direction, is I felt the need to lead again.
At least you recognized it, right? Regan, I mean, like a lot of people that come to you, Regan, they might not know it. They might not even call you guys because they don't recognize that, they need leadership help.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I think, and especially I think COVID heightened perhaps for myself and a lot of business owners across the board. It kind of compounded a lot of things together. So I think, like for you, Sarina, it sounds like, motivation, you realized you were just in the tank in your normally upbeat personality. Listeners who can't see, she has this very bright, glowing face, and just kind of this energy pops off of you. So I can see that would be an indicator for you, like something's not right here. And did you do a planning process? Have you ever done a business planning process pre-COVID?
Good question. So I had actually hooked up with another group just to help lead my team more. It wasn't an actual focused business leadership course on my own. It was more marketing and planning for the team. So this was new and foundational for my leadership skills.
Were you apprehensive about going into such a big planning process since you'd never done one?
Well, okay, this is so typical, Sarina. I feel it. I know this is the right direction to go. I'm making my way to the class, or, this was all Zoom meetings, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought, oh, this is great. This is a podcast I can listen to, or a Zoom meeting I can listen to while I do my other things. As a mom of 4 kids, Fridays are key for me getting things done. So that was hard to set the time aside. But once I realized, hey, 3 hours out of your day on a Friday is fine. Once I realized what it took, I was able to jump right in and go.
So did you really try initially to kind of multitask and do it? And then
So it was funny because I know my, women, we color our hair, we got to look good. I was at my hair appointments, maybe every couple months, or I think there was maybe 2 appointments there. And my hairdresser knew that if I had to zone out and listen to my earbuds while she did my hair, that was why. So, multitasking can work a little bit, but when we did the group breakout sessions, I had to focus.
Yeah.
So is that what kind of shifted it for you? Did you feel like the breakout sessions with your peers?
Accountability, baby. They really held me to it. And a lot of great friendship and leadership from them as well. Good feedback.
Well, if I've done the course twice now, the foundations course, and I just feel like it's a good safe space. Like that the people there are not looking to knock you or whatever. And there's different groups that are encouraging that way, but this is one of those where the people that are there are not there to say, oh, well, you do it the dumb way. And, oh, you had a bad year. Well, it's because you're a poor businessman, everyone there was kind of just like, oh yeah, no, I've had a rough year too. And let's talk about it.
Yeah. And actually that's when I finally got into it, because you don't know what kind of group you're going to get with when you join these. You don't want the pretentious, you don't want the condescending, you want the people that are going to uplift and empower you. And absolutely every step of the way, that was this group. And the great thing about the PDA group is that I never felt like it was condescending or a pretentious group. I feel like oftentimes in some of these social media circles that we follow as dentists, and when the shutdown happened, that's where I'm drawn. I've got to get information. And some of them, they hide behind that platform, or they're on a phone. They're not face to face. So they can open up to be a jerk or condescending, or just, not empowering, not uplifting.
Or that it's just not even constructive. Sometimes it's just a passive listener group, and that's not constructive either.
Yeah. Or trolling, or even worse. Right. So I'm grateful for the PDA group, because we were so face to face, and that accountability was there, and that loving group was just all about it.
So Sarina, walk us through from a first person perspective, especially for everyone who hasn't done a strategic business plan, and that term just sounds so big. What was the process actually like for you?
It was time intensive, but it was easy. Does that make sense? You guys, again, guided me through it, walked me through it. And I was so blessed to be able to work with you guys in some instances one-on-one, so that you guys could pull out of me kind of what was needed and what got me started. So once you guys sparked that, or lit that fire, I was able just to roll with it. And the fact that you guys broke it down so easily, and we think of the 2-year goal, then 1 year, then 6 months, and then you just take it like the wedges of the apple and go little bit by little bit, makes it easy.
Yeah. I liked how Victoria broke that up and just said, okay, we're going to digest the whole apple, but let's cut it in half. Then we'll cut it in half again. Then we'll cut those halves and halves and half. And then all of a sudden, eating an 1/8 at a time just seems a lot more enjoyable, doable, delicious, all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it does take time. You've got to work on it to get, that entire business plan mapped out. But as long as you start, you're good to go. It just flows.
Have you taken other online courses? I know for me personally, I'm I guess a non-dentist CE junkie, so I tend to be enrolled in something, but I don't often have the one-on-one interaction, which I know can affect me. Have you taken other courses where you haven't had the one-on-one interaction? Is there a difference from your perspective?
Correct. Yes. Done a ton. Are you kidding me? Especially during this time, we were online all the time. So yes, I've done a lot, but not a lot of one-on-one. You're one of 50, one of 70, and it's just, you don't have those ideal key breakout sessions. And then the fact that you guys are willing to spend one-on-one time is huge. Never seen that before.
Yeah. What about your team? Did you let them know that you were going to go through this process? How did that work?
Yes, they did. They knew I was involved in something because I would spend some extra time, at my desk working on things, or at lunchtime, or spending some admin time, or they saw me strategically planning my schedule out to where I would block some admin time during the week if needed. They were proud of me. And then I haven't even touched base on this, but I was able to have a leadership meeting in October. It was about 3 weeks ago. We met. I shared with them what I had learned on my journey, what my business roadmap is. We set a vision for the practice. We've got goals set for 2012. We're working on the goals still for 2021. We're not there 100%, but yeah. So I think they were excited as I was.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
It's more work for them because, there were certain tasks that I had to assign. And so they're busy working on that. Actually, I'm very proud of them right now. They're in the middle of a staff meeting right now without me. They're leading. They are taking it on their own. And that is huge.
Yep. Now you know that you've grown.
Yeah.
When that happens. That's awesome.
Yep. Let the reins go and go, kids.
So I know on the cheat sheet that I have that you have 4 kids and a husband and your dog and whatnot. And you guys, so are you practicing 4 days a week?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
Fridays
so you do,
are my days off.
And you do 4 clinical days a week.
You got it. Yep.
Okay. Well, so what are you looking forward to most about your practice now that you have the vision, now that you've cast with your team, like, here's what we're going to be doing, and you're going to be changing it more often than just the traditional annual plan, as Victoria kind of explains. So what are you looking forward to most about your practice now?
So I guess looking forward to the cheesy, the real honest answer is helping patients and moving forward with that forward momentum, helping the families, that sort of thing. I'm also excited to meet other like-minded professionals, right? So I have to get this interdisciplinary team behind me, or as a group together. And so that's what I'm most excited about, is getting to know the pediatric ENT, the adult ENT. We've got the physical therapists, the chiropractors, orthodontists, getting that interdisciplinary team going as well.
Wow. Sarina, it is a lot, and it's exciting because I can see your passion just bursting out. This is your life work. You're very passionate about this. Where do you think you would be today? Honestly, where do you think you would be today if you had not gone through the past 8-week program?
It's a great question. For me, I feel like I would still be spinning my wheels. There's a certain level of burnout that comes when you don't really know where you're going. You don't have a vision. You don't have forward momentum. And so I would probably just be spinning my wheels, frustrated, burned out, et cetera, doing the same old, same old.
What if you could go back in time then? Because there are probably doctors out there that may feel that way right now today. Right. If you could go back to Sarina that's, right in the midst of COVID, what would you tell yourself to look forward to?
Goodness, that's kind of provoking an emotional response for me. The big thing I would tell myself is don't worry as much. There's a lot of fear and a lot of worry that I had back in March and April, and knowing that I was able to we're not done, but get to this point and continue that forward momentum, I would have told myself, don't worry. It's all going to be fun. It's all going to be okay. Keep trucking.
That's wonderful. What advice would you have to doctors that may be feeling that way right now?
Continue on with your passion. You love dentistry for a reason. We just have to not be so afraid and continue to make steps. It may be, 1 step forward and 2 steps back, but keep that forward momentum going. Continue to learn, continue to love what we do, and we'll get through this together. And stay together. Learn together.
Really, dentists that are moms and that are, spouses and stuff like that, because that's not all of them, but, the ones that are, they've got a lot vying for their attention.
Yeah.
A male dentist has enough. And, a lot of male dentists, strive to be good fathers. It's not that, but I hate to be sexist about it, but we're probably not cooking dinner. There are those little factors that add up that, the organization that you have to have must be immaculate. And it does stir your brain towards entropy to chaos, like that you've got to bring that focus back more than just the average person is all I'm saying.
Actually, I've never recognized that, but you speak very truthfully. One, you're an amazing doctor for recognizing the male versus female difference. I mean,
I suppose.
You're amazing for recognizing that, because I think equally challenging, right? The father role has equal challenges with
if you let it,
and
sure.
different activities. But you're right, that entropy and that chaotic state that we stay in, it is hard to reel that in. And maybe that's what I felt during the pandemic or during the shutdown, is just so much chaos in my life. And it was nice to get it written down on a clear vision.
Well, when have you ever had so many stressors all
Truth.
at once?
Yeah, never. And we all feel that way.
Well, I remember in early March, maybe, lying in bed and feeling a weight on my chest. And I've heard that described before, but I was just like, man, I'm finding it hard to breathe. I'm just like, what is this about? See, but I'm a guy and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what, trying to think, is this physiologic? And no, because at that point I was wondering, are we going to have to close?
Right.
It was still the question of like, are we freaking gonna seriously have to close over this garbage? And, just being, worried about that, like, do I then fire people? Like,
right.
Like, am I going to have to close? How am I going to have enough money? I mean, none of this, basically the details came out little by little that, oh yeah, the government's going to have trillions of dollars for you. Oh, okay. Well, that'll help. But you didn't know this.
Right?
You didn't know this in early March. Little did I know too, that, we'd be worried 6 months later without a government support, like a no crutch in September, October, November, for when you're 6 months after closing, March, April, May. And for some people like Oregon, June,
right.
July, so it has been rough, and it was unprecedented. And feelings that I had really never felt before, that I was just like, why does it feel like there's a lack of oxygen in this room? I'm like, what the heck? And it's like, oh, it's just a small panic attack about, stuff that you're not, like, I didn't feel exacerbated or tired about it where like I was, like about to cry or anything like that. Not to say that was wrong, but I didn't feel that way. But like, it's just like, why am I having trouble breathing? It's like, well, my own biology was telling me that it's just like, dude, like you are weighing a lot on you right now. And it doesn't know how to tell me that. It doesn't know what to do other than just saying, like, you're not even breathing right. It was rough.
That is insane. I think a lot of us can echo the same thing.
Of course.
The panic attack, the fear, the unknown. It's impressive that you recognized it as a panic attack too, right?
Kind of. I mean, because at first I didn't. I was like, what is going on? But well, see, the problem is, if the average person has $50,000 worth of concern for their salary or something like that, ours like 50,000, it's like, oh, you mean a week or a year? Like, what are you talking about? So like the stakes are bigger, and we have more people that have mouths to feed that we're feeding them. And we care about our team, and therefore it lies on our shoulder. I mean, kind of the buck stops here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that relationship that you have with the team goes further. Like you said, mouths to feed, every single one of your team members, their spouse, their children, what grades they're in, what activities they do, so much about them, so that you love them.
Right.
You care for them. Yeah.
Did you have to go through team turnover through all of this, or were you able to kind of skate by?
I was so blessed. You know what? They came through. 100% of them came back. They rallied.
Wow.
But it wasn't easy. I'm sure you guys all had the same issue. We had went through a team transition November of last year. My office manager retired. She had been with me for 13 years. So she had retired, and I hired a new office manager. And then, we had grown so much. And then there were 2 new front desk. And then we've grown so much this year that we had another hygienist. Even she started right before the shutdown. And I ended up employing her part-time then. And then we pulled her into full-time right away, because we knew we would have some catching up to do. So I was lucky that I continued with everybody. But I remember in May, there were a lot of tears. The day we had to start back up, I had one pull me aside. She said she's not ready, and she almost had a panic attack.
Yep.
One person asked if she could work from home, and I'm like, I don't know how that works, but yeah. Let's try this. My whole motto through it all was lead with love, be as supportive as you can be. You have no answers. They have no answers. You're trying your best as a leader, but even our leaders have no answers. So I told my front desk, I'm like, sure, if you want to work from home, let's try it. Well, she called the next day and said, I'll be back.
Well, there was a point when, we didn't know if it was strictly airborne or it was, on surfaces, or if it was, like droplet or what, so the question was like, people subconsciously start wondering, just like with AIDS, if I look at them, am I going to get it? And people's eyes even start darting down, and you don't want to contact humans, and the stuff that does to your mind. It's very impressive that you kept your team, because I'll admit, I think half my team said sayonara. They found another job somewhere else for $1 more an hour. They found, that they wanted to do, so there was lots of stuff going on. We had a high turnover, and I thought my people were happy. So shoot, what's it like at a place that, like is bad to work at?
Exactly. But I think it was prime time for stuff like that turmoil that everybody's feeling. So I'm sorry.
To me, it was opportunity. Oh, listen, exactly. I'm over it. Like it's all for the better. And I'm even excited for the people that, found a job closer to their house and they got paid better. And you know what? If I'm happy for them and doing it out of love is just like, move on, like, cool with me. Like I don't want to see you go, but at the same time, we're only allotted a certain amount of time to work with everyone. Right. Right.
And, sometimes the thing that we fear the most, losing that employee, or will I be able to get through, is oftentimes not as bad, in reality. So it's fine. Just let it go and move on.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds very stoic, but I even just say, listen, if, a few years ago when I had my fire accident and stuff, I was just like, if I would have died, the office would have gone on, life goes on, people die. And I mean, I'm not trying to be grave about it, but at the same time, it's like, but it's a reality. Like, it's just like, make an impact while you're here, because when you're not here, you'll have an occasional memory with the special people, and that matters. It does. But onward we move. We're humans, and we have to.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm only going to work with my hygienist. I don't even care if it's for the next 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. I mean, there comes a point where it's only 40 more years. It's going to be over like that.
You got it. Yeah. You got it. I'm impressed. This has been so fun chatting with you about this, because this has highlighted some of the things that are still some of my fears. What if I do have some turnover? If there is another, they always speculate that there's more shutdowns coming, or tightening of the news. Like, what if I have to go through this again? And knowing that I'll be okay is the majority of my response these days.
Yep.
Wow. Sarina, you are an absolute inspiration. I think fear is fueled by the unknown, and you making the commitment, because it is a commitment to learning CE is one thing, but implementing it is an entirely different thing. And I think that step's missed a lot. So your dedication and commitment to facing the unknown and not letting fear gobble you up really inspires all of us on this call, and I'm sure our listeners as well. So parting notes for you. What are you most excited about going forward?
Oh, I am excited to get my airway practice started up and get that moving forward. Of course, I've got this huge journey ahead with the modules that I'm learning from, and just the experts that have paved the way for me. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel again. I want to continue to learn from these people and continue on and change the lives of many of the families that I treat.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sarina. It has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you guys. And it was wonderful to meet you, Chad. Thank you.
Yeah, you as well. You're looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. Let's wrap this up on video.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, have a good rest of the day. And thanks for our listeners for listening to our early November session of Everyday Practices.
Reagan Robertson here, co-host of Everyday Practices podcast. Thank you so much for listening to us. This year has been an absolute roller coaster that most people are screaming to get off of. Rather than preparing for the holidays, are you finding yourself stuck worrying about the health of your business? Is it keeping you up at night? Or are you struggling with the thought of a second wave coming, feeling like you were barely prepared the first time this economic downturn even happened? The truth is, you deserve a business that builds you up and doesn't run you down. You deserve something that's weatherproof, that can stand the next wave that's happening. We at PDA put our heads together and are offering something we've never done before, and it will give you access to the proven methods you need right now that will plant your feet on the road to productivity today, not weeks, not months, or years from now. Starting January 14th, we are kicking off another PDA Business Impact Foundations program, and during the month of November until December 1st, we are providing special early bird VIP access. Sign up for the Business Impact Foundations program all of November, and you will receive Dr. Bruce Baird's Pearls of Productivity on-demand video, a productive activation Q&A session with Dr. Bruce Baird and CEO Victoria Peterson, and a one-on-one master strategist session to put your productivity into play. Go to www.productivedentist.com/foundations to claim your early bird special and use the code FUTURENOW, all one word, FUTURENOW, for a $700 scholarship.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with everyday practices.